They say it takes a monster to stop a monster.
If I see Killua and there's a chance, can I?
Hisoka, I will kill you right here, right now.
But what happens when monsters roam free, with no intention of stopping?
You're no longer human. You're a demon!
These aren't your typical villains. They don't just fight. They hunt, they stalk, they kill.
No, I can't laugh yet. I've got to hold it in. They're all gonna die.
From blood-soaked ideals to psychological torture, these are anime's deadliest serial killers. And by the end of this documentary, you'll see that their crimes weren't just brutal, they were personal. Today we're diving deep into the darkest minds anime has ever created. The killers who didn't need an army or a master plan, just the thrill of the hunt and a twisted reason to keep going. This documentary won't just show how they killed, but why, what broke them, what made them keep going, long after everyone else would have stopped. And it all starts with a hero killer who believed every corpse was justice.
Throughout his teenage years, Chizame advocated for a return to the early days of heroes, but quickly realized that words had no power. For the next 10 years, he trained in killing techniques in order to fulfill his self-appointed duty. During this time, his parents passed away in what police eventually ruled as a tragic accident.
Born on the 14th of June, Chizome Akaguro, better known as Hero Killer, Stain, didn't come into this world evil. He was created by a broken society. Once a hopeful vigilante named Stendhal, Stain believed heroes should stand for something pure. But in a world where pro-heroes chase fame and money, he saw only corruption. He turned to violence, calculated, brutal violence. A few years later, he eventually dropped out and decided not to be a vigilante anymore. That's when things really started to take a bloody turn. He vanished completely into darkness, only to re-emerge years later. No longer the hopeful boy named Stendhal, but a judge with a blade named Hero Killer Stain.
My vanity falls apart. I discard my false face and behold the reality of this world anew with the eyes of a babe. The stains of my blood shall guide the world forward.
Stain was first introduced in My Hero Academia Season 2, Episode 11, which was aired on April 1st, 2017. Stain's first victims were false heroes, those who saved lives for money, not morals. His ideology was simple: if you claim to be a hero, you must be worthy. If not, you die. Villages hunted Stain. Pro-heroes formed teams. Still, some admired his code. Stain insisted he protected heroism. He never hid from All Might. He wanted judgment, not mercy. His bloodlust was so insane, he had even pro-heroes trembling in fear.
You false hero! I'll make this right! These streets must run with the blood of hypocrites! Come on! Just try and stop me, you fakes! There is only one man I'll let kill me.
Even fans had their own speculations about Stain. If All Might was a true hero, that means Stain was a true villain. Bro's bloodlust was crazy. Best villain in MHA. However, his killing spree would eventually come to a happy end, for him at least, because he was later captured by his icon All Might in episode 18, which was aired in May 2017. Stain may be a murderer, but in My Hero Academia, he's also a symbol of rebellion, of conviction, and of how dangerous an idea can become.
Stopping your blades, however.
Impossible.
Nice try, but it wasn't good enough.
Damn it!
Now, not all killers start with belief. Some start with boredom. Hisoka Moro, born on June 6th, was a lonely child drawn to magic and violence. He never trusted simplicity. He craved complexity. When he found Nen, he found his calling, to seek strong opponents, to taste battle. On October 16, 2011, Episode 3 of Hunter x Hunter was released. This was around the same time he decided to join the Hunter exam, and then suddenly weird things started to happen. Contestants started disappearing out of the blue and popping up red. He literally murdered dozens, casually, for fun.
I found some new toys to play with. Time to start the hunt.
To take this a step further, he even let a boy named Gon live. Yes, he actually spared him. Not out of mercy, but for sport.
I've decided to let you live for now. And I plan to let you continue living for as long as it suits me. Until someday, you become truly worthy of killing.
There was even a post going around on the internet saying, Hisoka is such a nice guy for looking out for Gon. Now, is this guy crazy or am I? Killing wasn't a means for Hisoka, it was his hobby. Time after time, his game became darker.
I'm so scared. I don't want to be here anymore. I feel his bloodlust.
Oh no. They had to go and get me stirred up. There's only one thing to do about it now. I have to quell it.
When worthy opponents appeared, he stalked them with savor, not to kill, but to enjoy the fear they let out in the universe. Death became very personal to him. Eventually, Hisoka became way too bloodthirsty for his own good, and he couldn't even control himself anymore.
And now, a lethal pop quiz from the Grim Reaper. I took 22 coins from your attack, so the question is, how many of them will I return to you? The answer is enough to kill you.
The hunter was later getting hunted by the Hunter Association, even by his own crew, which is the Phantom Troop, but none could stop him. The Phantom Troop hates Hisoka more than Kurapika. Is everyone aware of what Hisoka is? Is Hisoka a villain? Hisoka says he's not evil, he's excited. He kills, but only when he can feel it. And when your life becomes his entertainment, there's no escaping the finale.
Crazy how much you smell like her, kid. You're a tough guy, aren't you? Well, in that case, I got this. How about this?
However, not all serial killers kill just for fun and entertainment. Some were born from pain. This is Yakumo Omori, known to most as Jason. Jason grew up in the 20th ward of Tokyo. Before he was a monster, he was a very innocent boy. A boy captured by the CCG, tortured, starved, left to rot in a cell with nothing but a ticking clock and human screams. He was broken by his captors, over and over.
He was tortured in ways you only hear about in fiction. It was so brutal, his mind did the only thing it could to protect itself. It created another personality.
Until he began to break others, piece by piece. Jason escaped, not just from prison, but from his humanity.
He busted out. Ever since then, he's favored acting like the brute himself. And he employs the same torture he endured on his victims.
Once free, he didn't hide. He created a new name, a new legend, Jason of the 13th Ward. He captured ghouls, tortured them, experimented.
Oh, good. You're awake. This is my room. Make yourself comfy.
Tatara decided he didn't need you, after all. But one man's garbage is another man's hobby.
He used pliers, screws, chemicals, masks. He didn't want blood. He wanted fear. He wanted his own screams on someone else's tongue. Jason became a mirror of his own tormentor. He developed rituals. He'd ask victims to count backward from 1,000, knowing they'd never finish.
How many was that? I lost count again.
559.
Take some time to recover. I'll be back in a little while.
He used psychological torture more than blades. However, his reign would then come to a brutal end. On September 19th, 2014, episode 12 of Tokyo Ghoul was released, in which Jason's deadly run was finally put to a tragic end by Kaneki after the horrific torture sessions he had him endure. How he didn't go mad is beyond me. The second Jason cut one of my toes off, I would have been a demon. However, to Jason, survival wasn't the point. It was how long someone could scream before they broke, but it ended up backfiring bitterly. Jason symbolizes what happens when pain becomes identity. He didn't just end lives, he reshaped others through suffering. And in Tokyo Ghoul, that makes him one of the most pivotal monsters in the entire story. Then there's Orochimaru. Orochimaru is a serial killer cloaked in darkness. Once a boy of brilliance, an orphan taken under the wing of the third Hokage. He mastered jutsu faster than any child his age, but even then, he viewed death as a puzzle to solve, and life as something to control. Orochimaru ascended as one of the legendary Sannin during the Third Great Ninja War. To the ninja world, he was a prodigy. But underneath the surface, he performed experiments on children, harvested DNA, built his own laboratory of corpses.
So I've finally been found out, eh? Oh, such a pity.
He wasn't chasing power, he was chasing godhood. Orochimaru shed his friendly genius. Eventually, he left the village he was raised and groomed in, betrayed his own, became a rogue ninja, and then began his experiments. Bodies stacked, names vanished off the map. He viewed humans as power sources, not actual people.
A steady flow of people have gone missing from the village. Genin, Chunin, even Anbu Black Ops. Many of them were last seen with you, and you've been acting rather strange lately.
You, a superior shinobi, how could you have done such a thing?
Now I'll have to kill you as well.
If you're locked in a room with Orochimaru, he has the key. You have 10 minutes to convince him your body is useless to him. He had that vibe of a predator, and it made you fear what's to come from his villainy. However, Orochimaru was then declared a traitor to his own village, and during the Konoha Crush arc, which was between episodes 68 to 80 in the Naruto series, he was listed as enemy number 1. During that same arc, in episode 72 to 73, which was aired between February to March of 2004, he then decided to draw his own master's blood, the third Hokage, the man that taught him most of what he knew. The third unexpectedly sealed him with the Reaper Death Seal, and his arms couldn't be used anymore. But immortality doesn't bleed like humans. To the world, he was a monster. To himself, he was just evolving. While Orochimaru wanted to be immortal, Light, on the other hand, wanted to be a god on planet Earth. Meet Light Yagami. Born on February 28, 1986, He was a perfect son, gifted, polite, moral. He believed in justice, in consequence, in structure. In fact, he didn't even believe in the serial killer starter pack. No mask, no knife, just a pen. On October 3rd, 2006, the very first episode of Death Note titled Rebirth was released. Not even 2 episodes in, and all the mysterious murders started to happen. Light found a notebook that could kill anyone by name. This sense of control bloomed into something monstrous. Light Yagami tested the Death Note with small-time criminals, but once it worked, he accelerated. Hundreds died in silence within just days.
Hey, Namikawa, what's wrong? That's impossible.
He then created the god known as Kira, and the world began to tremble.
And as predicted, at the exact time that Kira had specified, both men died suddenly of heart attacks yesterday.
Change it. Change it to channel 24. Please change it back.
Light eventually started to lose his way and stopped pretending he wanted justice. What he really wanted now was worship. He used people like pawns, including his own family. Light Yagami is the fakest person I've ever seen. He used Misa Amane, used Kiyomi Takada, didn't give a about his dad, thought about killing Sayu, social engineered Naomi Misura, and many other people. In his eyes, the world would either bow or burn. Then came this guy called L, who was one of the only ones smart enough that could actually crack a case like this one. Light was outsmarted, pursued by L, watched by Nier. The turning point came in episode 28, titled Impatience, which was aired on June 19, 2007, when Nier's final plan led to Light's downfall.
Why do I feel like I'm talking to L?
I told you that we wouldn't rely on L, but that's a bit of an understatement. The FBI and the CIA have explicitly asked that I head up their investigation, not you. Having said that, we are outraged by the recent murder of the director of the NPA and feel something must be done.
After reviewing the information, I believe there's a possibility that solving this case could lead to the arrest of Kira. As such, I'm willing to lend you my full support.
Lead to the arrest of Kira? Who is he anyway? This confidence.
Light started to call himself a god, because he could literally kill with a swipe of a pen, and nothing would come out of it. Well, so he thought. He believed the ends justify the deaths, that the fear of Kira would fix what justice couldn't. In the final episode, titled New World, Light Yagami was killed by the same book he used to take countless lives during his reign of terror.
It was good while it lasted. We eased each other's boredom for quite a while. Well, Light, it's been interesting.
His empire of silence completely collapsed. Light wasn't bad until people started going after him. He only wanted to get criminals that deserved it. Loved it, perfectly represented his character. He doesn't care what happens to anyone else as long as he achieves his goal. Unfortunately, he found out the hard way that he wasn't a god. He was just a boy with a book, and a lie. In the end, they all had different motives: justice, thrill, revenge, evolution, control. But every single one left behind a trail of bodies. Some were caught, some vanished, and some still out there, smiling. What makes these killers terrifying isn't just how they kill, it's how normal they once were, and how quickly any of us might have made the same choice. Serial killers in anime aren't just villains, they're mirrors. They show us what happens when belief turns to obsession, when pain becomes purpose, and when a line is crossed so many times, it disappears completely. So next time you root for deadly characters such as these, ask yourself one question. What if the only difference between them and you was just one bad day? By the way, subscribe for weekly anime documentaries, and let me know if you'd like part 2.